hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
It's the After Show, gathered together with our favorite crew here, Jim Kinsey and Michelle Cleland. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello, Thomas.
Hello. So, Michelle, you were saying, I wonder why they sent me a 10.
Right. Why a 10 millimeter to Tom Gresham?
10. I do like the 10. Yeah, the Ruger Match Champion, the GP100 Match Champion. Nice revolver. Very slick, very smooth trigger action on it. I shot some double action, shoot it fast up close, and then back at 60 yards. I mean, it really was not difficult. Once I figured out where it was shooting, just time and time again, you just drop them in, hit them.
It's got the fiber optic sight on it and a nice wood grip.
Yes, and the grip is slim. It feels good in the hands. Generally, you know, historically when they had a wood grip on these revolvers, it was usually kind of fat. Mm-hmm. And this is not at all. It feels great.
Awesome.
So, yeah, and I am a huge fan of a fiber optic front sight, you know, only because I've got eyes who are going to go, oh, there's the front sight.
What front sight?
Mr. Magoo shoots again. Okay.
Oh, that green thing out there?
That green thing. Oh, do something with that. Hey, we got a couple of people on hold here, Robert and Todd. Let's get to them. Robert is in Fort Worth, Texas. Hey, Robert, thank you for your patience. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Just got through working a little job, thank God.
Excellent.
Anyway,
works a good thing.
Skip church this morning. What I was calling in about is the guns. I have a friend. He's citizen here now, but he was from Syria, and most of his family's here now. But he was saying, you know, the United States, this is over a year ago, won't come out there and help Syrian people give them guns. I said, well, don't you have any guns? He said, no, the government don't let us have any guns. There's no way to fight them. Well, there's your guns. I mean, if you don't have any guns, what you gonna fight with? Rocks and sticks, like they're proposing in schools? That's crazy. Anyway, I mean, that is crazy. Another thing is you need to go on the Internet, have people go on the Internet and look up FEMA's floating prisons. And there's prisons across the United States. You got prisons on ships. And this basically is for anybody, for citizens, and like they're talking about calling people mentally ill. Well, when they set that in effect, they can pick you up anytime, anywhere. Anyone can say you're crazy. They pick you up. No, your friend never know, and your family don't know. People are just walking down the wrong way.
Do you believe that FEMA has floating prisons?
Look at it on the Internet. FEMA floating prisons.
Look, there's a lot of stuff on the Internet that's bogus. I just got to. I don't believe it, but just because it's on the Internet doesn't mean anything.
Here in Fort Worth, they got prisons at Lockheed Airfield, and that's part of them.
All right, I'm looking it up here. FEMA prison conspiracy theory, FEMA floating prisons, FEMA camps, debunking FEMA camp myths. Yeah. I appreciate it, but you know what? I don't believe it. I don't think it's true. So, I mean, that's where I fall on it. All right, Todd's with us out of Medford, Oregon. Hey, Todd, thank you for your patience. I do appreciate it.
Hi, Tom. Appreciate your show.
Sure.
I did want to give you a heads up, kind of a nightmare scenario. It didn't happen to me. I'm a retired law enforcement officer out of California, and I was a firearms instructor in armor for my department, and I worked for the state, but I won't bother saying what agency. Okay. A guy who's current. He and a bunch of other guys, firearms instructors, all like that, they were doing all the California legal AR build, beyond bullet buttons and all the stupid stuff that they require down there. And they were getting all their paperwork in before the first of the year, before all the new laws came into effect. And while he's at work, this happened about 2 months ago, California Department of Justice officers showed up at his house. His wife was home. They demanded the rifle. He'd submitted his paperwork just like he was supposed to.
Right.
And, of course, she was terrified, and she got it and gave it to him. And then he was absolutely mortified because he thought, oh, my God, did I do something wrong? Right. Are they going to file criminal charges against me? Am I going to lose my job? And finally they got back to him and they said, no, we're not going to file criminal charges against you, but we're going to destroy your rifle with no compensation. And he was probably grateful for that. He's not charged with the crime. They just came and stole the gun and they're going to destroy it.
He should press charges.
Right.
You should call the cops. Somebody stole his firearm.
That's the scary thing. I mean, he carries, we all carried Colt ARs on duty.
Right.
He trains people in how to shoot the Colt AR-15. You know, we have 30-round magazines, you know, coming out of every pocket. But the fact that, I don't know, I didn't talk to him recently, but I don't know what they didn't like about it. But if they're going to do that to a current peace officer who can carry a gun in all 50 states, can, you know, the BATFE would come out to our ranges and let us shoot full auto stuff all day just for fun. And if they'll do that to an officer, don't think that they won't find the time to do it to the average citizen. And the scary thing is, I mean, I'm glad to be out of the state of California. It's spiraling out of control. I mean, the prison population, the gang members on the street, how I got through my career without shooting somebody, I don't know how that happened, but I'm glad to be out of there. But they're focusing their attention on the people that are entrusted to protect people. And that is really terrifying to me. It's something everyone should be concerned about. Up here in Oregon, they're trying to pass petitions and get rid of so-called assault rifles and all that stuff. And you better make sure that if you have something and you want to keep it, there's no paper trail. You know, remember those old Janet Reno tubes they talked about from back in the 90s? You better dust yours off and make sure you know where you bury it next time.
Well, the other thing I would offer is that, you know, if you have your guns in a safe, you may not want your wife to have the combination or the key to the safe, because if you're going to be away, they come in, they intimidate her. And, you know, I mean, and what I would tell them is get a warrant. You know, I mean, if they have a warrant, then you got to give it to them. But if you don't have a warrant, get the hell off my property.
Well, I have on my all of my gun safes. Of course, I don't do anything illegal, but just for fun, I have notifications. Notice to police. You do not have permission to search without a warrant, and all of my lawyer information is right on there.
Right there on your safe.
Pinned right to the safe. So
I love it.
It's photographed and everything. So I
love
recommend
it.
that.
But no, you make an excellent point, which is they will do. I keep hearing people say, "Well, you know, the cops aren't. You know, the cops are. Well, they'll just refuse to go pick up guns." I'm going, are you crazy? They'll take them away from the cops.
They won't follow an unlawful order.
Well, do cops have to take an oath, like members of the military branches take an oath that they will uphold against their citizens?
That's why they call them sworn officers, right?
You know, but people may not realize that they have to do that.
Well, you have to take an oath, just like in the military, to protect and defend the Constitution. But if you're getting a direct order and it's coming down from, you know, the governor of the state and the state district attorney attorney general,
right?
You know, you're going to be held in contempt, and you're going to lose your job if nothing else. Guess who California's former attorney general was? Kamala Harris. Yeah. So that's who we used to have.
So the point is, as an officer, you can either do what they tell you to do, or you can quit, because those are your only choices. Well,
yeah, and I'm not, you know, I've heard other officers say, I'm not going to go knocking on the door of somebody who's potentially got all sorts of very lethal weapons, who's otherwise doing no criminal act, and looking for a fight. It's tough enough when you're contacting meth heads and MS-13 gang members and norteños and sureños. That's bad enough. But going to some guy's house because he didn't check the right box on his registration form, give me a break.
It's a law-abiding citizen,
Well, it's easy. You wait till he's at work, right?
Yeah, right. Right. And
I mean, this is easy.
You tap him on the shoulder.
You wait till he's at work. You go to his house. You know, if nobody's home, you kick in the door, you go in and do what you got to do. And it's, I mean, and people say, well, that's horrible. Yes, it is. And it's not like this might happen. And Todd, I think that would be the thing I would like to take away from your call is it's not a case of this might happen. It is happening right now. It's happening not just to this, you know, people say, well, that's just the bad people who break the law. No, it's happening to police officers who are trying to obey the law, who are trying to comply with the law.
And make others do so.
There's something to be said for, and I've heard people bounce. And Todd, look, thank you for the call. I appreciate that, sir. It bounces off you guys. Something I've heard people say. You should own a couple of guns that don't live in your home. They should live at a friend's home.
That makes sense, like a safety deposit box for your guns.
You know, and a couple of his guns ought to live at your home. So if they come and take all of his, he can come get the two they didn't take.
keep them in a different place. What do? I mean, if you're being forced to open your safe,
right,
they're going to see them there.
That's what I'm saying. But if 2 of your guns are not in your home at all.
Right, but I'm saying if you have 2, like if Jim and I were to hold each other's firearms.
Hypothetically.
Right.
Right.
Yes. So if they came to his safe, they would see mine.
You would lose your guns there. You have 2 guns there.
Right.
But the point is, if they came and took your guns, you would still have access to at least a couple of guns to keep you safe.
Michelle who? Who's calling? I don't recognize the number.
Wait, it's a 327. Yeah, we know who that belongs to.
Well, it's just, it is, and I guess one of the other things to focus on is you have a very law-abiding citizen here, maybe more so than the common person, being a police officer.
Yeah.
I mean,
they can harass him. Who won't they?
Exactly. Right? And people think all the time, well, they come to my house, they'll be fired upon. You don't think they already know that that's a potential?
Sure. Of course.
They know that.
And they will shoot you. I mean, that's if you decide, okay, if they come here, I'm going to shoot the officers, then you're saying I am going to commit suicide.
Right.
Because that's what it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I just have speakers set up, and I play full auto fire through the speakers to get them to cower behind trees and stuff, and I go have a barbecue or something.
Yeah, I like that plan. That's going to work. I think we should all go with that. The only question, are these Bluetooth speakers? Because I want some tactical details on the speakers here, okay? And with that, we're going to take a quick break and come back and flesh this out just a smidge here. Be right back.
For tactical equipment for military, law enforcement, and shooting enthusiasts, look for the name Elite Survival Systems, creators of high-quality, intelligently designed products for concealed carry, discreet transport, and rigorous tactical uses. Elite Survival Systems knows there isn't just one method of carry that works for everyone. Elite offers a vast array of concealment products to fit your lifestyle, including holsters, belts, vests, pouches, slings, bags, backpacks, and cases. Find out more at EliteSurvival.com.
Get ready for something totally new from LMT, a short personal defense weapon with an integral suppressor. Featuring new suppressor technology from Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, the CSW, or Confined Space Weapon, has a 24-inch overall length profile and includes their new high-performance suppressor that can shoot supersonic and subsonic ammunition with no changes. Chambered for the 300 blackout, the CSW allows quick movement in tight quarters. For more, visit lmtdefense.com.
All right, we're talking about are these fully semi-auto speakers? I'm not sure.
They're full semi-Bluetooth speakers.
Semi-Bluetooth engaged and connected.
Yeah, cool. They've got armor-piercing diaphragms. Yeah, they're all-weather.
You remember Cody Wilson, the guy who does the 3D printing guns? Yeah, the company. I think it's Distributed something. I can't remember the... But he made a statement at Gun Rights Policy Conference I thought was interesting. He said, gun control in the age of 3D printing is a fantasy. Events have a way of catching up to you sometimes. And sometimes when you thought other people were a little bit out there, you realize, no, they were just ahead of you. And the idea of 80% uppers with no serial numbers, with no paperwork, or 3D printing starts to look a little bit more mainstream, a little bit more sensible. Maybe they are not a little crazy. Maybe they're just prescient. I've been wanting to use that word, by the way.
Would you say the same thing about Alex Jones, please?
Speaking of which, a pioneer of talk radio died. Art Bell, 72 years old, just died. The king of late night radio.
Yeah, what a character.
Area 51, all the rest of it. But man, he defined a whole genre. Well, he was the genre. There really was nobody like him, was there?
No, I mean, he was the first, and his residual work, stuff associated with stuff he has done, has blossomed into the Alex Jones kind of guys and stuff.
Right.
Cool part about Art was he just didn't buy into everything.
Right.
You'd call him up, he'd call you to the carpet.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He wasn't just across the board. Okay, conspiracy, it's all good. He's like, come on, you're out of your mind. Next caller.
Just no. We need a better conspiracy theory than that. Come on.
Yeah, I liked that. He was great.
Well, entertaining.
R.I.P., fella.
Oh, Lordy. So I got to shoot. Oh, we did the Guns and Gear shoot. I was telling you about it during the break, Michelle.
Yeah.
We shot the PC-9, the Ruger PC-9, which I guess these days is pretty much a unicorn. You're not finding them.
No.
I mean, just we had the one, and we put a 32-round Glock magazine in it. We had a plate rack with 24 plates, and just went to town on it. Now that's a hoot. That is just fun. I love the idea of a 9mm carbine. I just think it's a great concept.
Yeah, now, actually, one company that we make fun of, I shouldn't say we, I'm speaking for myself, I constantly make fun of High Point. They actually have a 9mm carbine that's highly reliable and really accurate, surprisingly accurate.
So along the topics of pistols and carbines and rifles and all that type of thing, where do you stand with using that for home defense?
Well, I think it should be a great home defense gun.
In the kitchen? Yes, thanks, Jim. Tim's going to stay in the kitchen.
I think you stick a light on it and a red dot sight and call it happy. And, I mean, come on, if you had even 15 rounds of 9 out of a rifle, you're going to get more velocity out of the barrel, and most people are going to shoot it better than they do pistols. I mean, face it, people generally shoot them better. And with a red dot, it's fast, it's accurate, plenty accurate for what you're doing. I think it'd be a great self-defense gun, don't you?
I do. I just wanted your take on that because it was fascinating listening to Tiger talk about the AR pistols, and it's an area some dealers are afraid to step into because it looks like you're doing something that's illegal when it's legal.
Right.
Yeah.
So people's like, is that legal? Yes, it is. It's a pistol.
Yes, it's a pistol. Yes,
right.
It is.
Yes.
And you get the arm brace on it, which is legal, and you can shoot it from your shoulder, which is legal. So what you have done is you have complied with the law, and you have what is functionally an SBR, which should never have been regulated in the first place.
Now, which version of the PC-9 did you have, Tom?
The one they gave me.
Oh, that one.
Oh.
So when I say give, it's the one they supplied to us for the shoot.
Temporarily.
Right.
Temporarily. And then we have to say goodbye to them.
Right. Takedown?
Takedown.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just cool little takedown. I like the devil out of it. We were shooting it with iron sights. Had some fun with that. Shot some shaving cream up close and personal. If you're going to do that, you really do want to go. I made sure that we had high velocity hollow point 9mm ammo to whack that because you're just going to get really messy. And you got to make sure you're downwind.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're only 7 yards out, no, actually, I take it back. We were 5 yards. We were at the 5-yard line shooting shaving cream cans.
So did you use it to shave yourself with afterwards?
You could shave your entire body.
I got shaving cream everywhere,
Plus, the can's already sharp. You can just use that as your razor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. What could go wrong?
Scrape this across your neck, will you?
Yeah, we had Ryan and Matt from Ruger doing it, and they were covered by the time it was done. They just covered. It was hilarious.
A bunch of hooting and hollering.
And, of course, we got it in super slow motion.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Even better, right?
Yeah. At least 10,000 frames a second. Come on.
Well, we couldn't go that far. For that, you actually have to spend money. You know how cheap we are.
Oh, God forbid, yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to do that.
Does anybody make a 10 carbine?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be cool and more expensive to shoot?
Yes, it would.
For both, yes.
I can't remember who does that. Somebody had a 10 carbine. Now you got me curious.
Check your closet, Tom. You probably have a couple of them.
That's true.
He's just moved. You should have taken inventory.
Where'd everything go? 10mm carbine, online. Thurion Defense Carbine, Thureon. Here's another one, an Arrow Survival Rifle.
So
evidently there have been more than one.
Well, you're already there. I'll just give you shipping address. You got your card on you. So
of course, are you familiar with the MechTech systems? They take a Glock and put it up, basically make a rifle out of your Glock pistol.
No.
Oh, yes. MECHTECH, MechTech. You've got to check that thing out.
Wow, that sounds kind of cool.
You basically drop a rifle upper on your Glock.
Oh, cool.
Instead of the slide, pull the slide off, drop this thing on. And for only $450.
Yeah. Yeah, when you could have bought an AR to start with or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But not from Dick's unless you want one parts.
That's right. Because you know what they are there? Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Well, I just hope people realize that they are the owners of that store that they like to call Field and Stream.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I assumed everybody knew, and then you were telling me during the break what? You were running into one of our callers didn't know that.
Yeah, right. They had no idea that Field and Stream was owned by Dick's Corporation.
Right. So Field and Stream is the name of the store, but it's owned by Dick's, and it's actually the Field and Stream stores that Dick's is taking the rifles out of, the modern rifles, and not just turning them back into the manufacturers, but actually destroying the rifles. I like the caller who said, they could just give them to the law enforcement.
Yeah.
Right? If they wanted to get coverage, they get great coverage for that.
That means the AR serves a good purpose for good people.
Well, true.
And God forbid we do that.
Good point.
I think you nailed it with that one, Jim.
And the other thing is, if you were a shareholder, wouldn't you be pissed off? These people got $1 million of inventory that they could be getting refunds on because they refund all that stuff, the manufacturers.
And now you're going to destroy it.
You can destroy it instead?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know that a distributor or manufacturer would take that back.
Well, somebody Dick's says, hey, we're still going to buy 10,000 shotguns this month. But we need to take these ARs back. They got more leverage than you and I do.
They could say, okay, here's the distributor. Would you like these back at 70% of what you sold them to us for? Now you can resell them to somebody.
And then they would take a loss, and that would show different financials, like the caller said as well, right?
Right, right. High Point. High Point has a 10mm pistol. Carbine.
He's still doing research for you there, Jim.
Yeah. Hey, once you got me going on the 10, get out of the way.
It's nice to have a paid assistant here.
I'm doing your work for you, dude. Come on.
Jim was hoping you were spending your money for him, though.
Matter of fact, I just put my feet up on the desk and I'm smoking a cigar right now.
Good man.
While you do all my work.
If I hypothetically gave you $1,000, what would you buy? Well, Jim just answered his.
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm also looking for, I think Jim missed out on this conversation before we started, Michelle. I'm thinking I would like to get a takedown lever action. I don't know why.
Okay.
But it just seems like it would be cool.
It would be, especially if you didn't even bother putting the stock on. You just shot it with the lever.
Oh, my gosh.
Hold it like that. You don't need it.
They're the right. Who is it? One of the, One of Dead or Alive. They had that mare's, what do they call it? The mare's leg?
Mare's leg.
Lever action.
Yeah. Henry makes mare's legs. Yeah.
Oh, they still make that?
Yep.
Ooh.
I think a 44, maybe a 357, but I know for sure in a 44 they make a mare's leg.
It's just got the curve down for the handle.
Yeah, it's just a really super short stock and big old lever.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I like the hoops. I like the big hoops.
The hoops.
I like the hoops. I do. I think they're
A little hoop action there?
Yeah.
March Madness is over, dude. I tell you.
Not for me.
Oh, wait. Browning lever action, the BLR lightweight stainless takedown. That's not a traditional looking lever action, but they do have a takedown lever action.
Where would your breaking point be?
Just wherever you put the hacksaw.
Right? Wait.
It is actually the barrel. Same deal. I think it's got the 90-degree deal. The barrel goes into the action, and then you give it that 90-degree rotation.
Okay, so just like the Rugers there at the breech.
Just like the Rugers. And, that goes all the way back to, remember the old Browning 22 automatic, and it was a takedown.
Nope, don't remember it.
Never heard of it.
This is the one that... Yeah, you do. You guys.
Tom just makes this stuff up.
I do. There was the one that had the... you'd pour the ammo into a hole in the side of the stock.
Yeah.
Remember that? And, that was a takedown. It's the same deal. It had a little lever, pop it, 90-degree twist, good to go.
Do you ever sit down with Steve Fiestad and be like, do you remember this gun?
That would be fun.
Oh, my gosh, the two of you at dinner. Oh.
He would outdo me by far, Just, I don't know.
Yeah, and then you switch over to guitars to try to beat him, and you get crushed there, too.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's the Blue Book of Guitar guy.
He is. He's the Blue Book of Guitar guy. Now, Marlon had a lever action takedown. And then there was an outfit in Alaska. Was it Wild West Guns? And they would do what they call the Alaska Co-Pilot. They would take a Marlin 4570, shorten it, and put, I think they would do magneporting or something on the muzzle, and then make it a takedown.
So Jim's wondering that would be a 4520, a 4550.
4562.
It really depends on where you cut it in half. You know, we got to divide this up.
I was ahead of you, Jim. I got there first. So, yeah.
It just shows I've worn off already.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Have I mentioned I'm tired of talking to you people? Oh, my gosh.
Can we finish this after break?
Are we supposed to take a break here?
We are now.
So. I need the break, okay? Back in like an hour and a half.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now Gun Talk presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At ShopGunTalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Well, I'm back. Are you guys still here?
Sorry. Jim left. Something about his Bluetooth was cutting out on the speakers. I'm not sure. Bad Wi-Fi connection.
Okay.
You guys.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry, I'm back.
Sorry, I'm back. I thought it was interesting when we were talking with Tiger that he had been tinkering with the AR-15 pistols for several years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he hasn't really mentioned that before, had he?
No, he really hasn't.
Of course, my mind instantly went and asked you on break, so can I get that in 300 blackout, right?
Yes,
we can put a can on that, right?
Yes, you can.
Oh, yeah.
I think a 300 blackout takedown, now you got a Luby package. You could make it a pistol. And I like the fact he said, well, he takes his pistol and then he takes it apart to make it even shorter. That thing could go in a briefcase.
That is cool.
That would be very cool. And, of course, if you have a collapsible stock, you can collapse it so it's short. Then you go with a, 10-inch, 12-inch barrel, something like that.
See a James Bond flick coming in here,
Thank you,
putting
Q.
down putting down the briefcase and opening it up and
little Mission Impossible.
Maybe.
All right, here's another one. Taylor Company. They make a takedown lever action. You guys keep talking. I'm just cruising.
And a hell of a guitar, by the way.
No kidding. Probably not the same company.
I'm sure it's the same company.
It's a Taylor takedown guitar. That's what it is, Jim. You just bend it at the neck. It's all good.
30-12 string.
What?
Oh, I really do think it's time for Jim to start drinking.
Yeah.
You've been sober far too long.
Yeah.
It's just like all your life, right?
Yeah, evidently.
Yeah, okay. So we figured out, I was listening to that old 60s music recently, which is my music, and said, I've never experienced, don't know what it feels like to be on LSD, but now I think I know what it sounds like.
Right.
So,
just think where our music would be had that not been available for usage.
Yeah, we'd still be listening to Buddy Holly and the Platters. Yeah, which is not bad, but we had to go through that time to get to where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and based on some of the stuff I hear coming out today, I wouldn't mind going back.
Not sure it was worth the effort.
Maybe I should take an acid after all. Damn it!
It's not too late. People. I just read that it's back.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Right, and they're finding out that people that did it in their 18s and 20s and 25, and now they turn 45, 50, and they're starting to have brain issues and flashbacks and everything else.
Free dosage. Here it is. It's back, but you didn't even have to take it.
Yeah.
So
the gift that keeps on giving, right?
Yes, no kidding. Yeah, and I'll pass on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I like my light beer from Miller. That's about all I can do.
You had what?
Light beer from Miller tastes just great, and that's no fish story.
There you go. Boy, there's a flashback, huh?
I grew up with that commercial, man. I got to tell you.
I bet.
It's there were some hilarious stories when Dad was doing those commercials. So
not worthy for air, I'm sure.
Well, actually, some are pretty funny. He was in St. Louis one time. Of course, that's Anheuser-Busch world. Mm-hmm. It's all Budweiser there. He was in a bar, and he was really identified everywhere because everybody knew this commercial. For those who don't know, my dad was on these commercials for Miller Lite back when they did the taste great, less filling. And he went into the bar and he said, "What do you have?" He said, "I'll have Miller Lite." He said it was like everybody just stopped talking. The place suddenly got silent.
Shuts off.
And the bartender says, "Do you know who owns this bar?" Augie Bush. And he said, "We don't have Miller Lite." And Dad said, "Well, I can't be seen drinking a Budweiser." And the guy said, "Okay, I got you." So he took a cocktail napkin, the bartender did, and he wrote on it Miller Lite and wrapped it around the Bud
can. That's cool. That's fun.
That'll work.
Oh, my.
Oh, gosh.
Cute.
Thinking about Dad and some of his guns, and he kind of got to the point after, he shot everything, as you can imagine, hunting, but he really ended up liking smaller, lighter rifles like the Remington Model 7. That was just one of the sweetest little small light rifles. That and anything from a 243 up to a 7mm 08. And still a pretty good choice, something like that.
I think some of those oddities are coming back to certain areas, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, the other thing we shot was the Ruger American rifle that takes AI magazines. So in 308, or you can get another caliber, so we had a 308, you can use detachable box magazines, 10-round AI magazines. Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Like that.
What are they traditionally? Usually 3 or 5?
Yeah, the small flush fitting, and these are the bigger, the kinds that would go in an AR-10. Yeah, so you could have 10-round magazine in there. Now, the mags aren't cheap. I think AI magazines, if I remember right, somebody said they're, $50, $60 a piece. They're pretty pricey. But you can shop around and find other brands of mags for those. So, anyway, you're right, Michelle. They keep cranking out. It seems like every 2 weeks, Ruger's got a new gun out.
Mm-hmm. Well, that little Precision 22 that they came out with, that's a pretty sweet little rifle.
It's they shoot, man. They shoot so well.
So they decided to finally break into the 22 rimfire market after all.
Right, yeah. They're like, well, let's throw out this 1022 and see if it sticks. And then
it'll never catch on.
Well, the first gun that Bill Ruger made was a 22 pistol. The standard 22.
How many 22s do you think are in circulation now, 1022 models?
Oh, my goodness.
Millions.
On 1022s or 22 pistols?
I bet 1022s, just in general. The gun everybody refers to.
I would bet it's at least 5 and maybe easily be 10 million.
Yeah.
1022s.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, like me, have more than one.
Right. And do you know any gun guy that doesn't have one?
Not many.
I don't know anybody who doesn't have at least one 1022.
And, of course, you can get them in all these different configurations now.
Right, sporterized and everything, yeah.
That's the fun part of it. And you can get them with, in fact, tomorrow I got to go print out a couple of photographs of 1022s to take to the Louisiana legislature on Tuesday to show here's one without a threaded barrel and here's one with. They're identical other than that. One would be banned under your so-called assault weapons ban because it has a threaded barrel. Threaded muzzle.
With nothing attached, right?
With nothing attached.
Right.
And the other would not. A Ruger 2245 pistol with a threaded barrel would be banned. A pistol, 22 pistol, would be banned as a assault weapon under these regs.
So they're saying anything with the threaded availability.
If it has a threaded muzzle and it takes a detachable magazine, yes.
Mm-hmm. See? And people don't think this is happening, right?
Right. It's happening right now. Yeah. And here's the thing. It has an excellent chance of passing out of the committee, the Senate committee, and somehow going to the floor. Ugh. And then it's a real fight.
Did you hear that, Jim? Tom just said it passed. Right? That's how these rumors get going.
That's what I heard him say, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I was glad our caller straightened that out in Oklahoma.
Those poor people in Oklahoma. But it is true. You know, they start reporting on this, and people don't do enough research. Well, they don't do enough due diligence to know to go and protest these things that are in legislation.
Right. No, that's exactly right. And you can't wait for somebody to tell you what's going on.
Right.
You have to say, I am going to go search it out. I'm going to go find out. I'm going to find out who has the info, who sends it out, and get on their mailing list.
So how did you get involved with your state legislation?
I got involved through our state organization, which in Louisiana is called the Louisiana Shooting Association, which originally was really just a competition group, primarily rifles. But they ended up being forced, as you might imagine, to get involved in all this. And so they're the go-to group when it comes to what's going on out there. And then, frankly, I met 2 or 3 of the key people. And honestly, it's like every other group, right? 10% of the people do 90% of the work. In every group, I don't care what it is, garden club or anything else.
Yes, sir.
So there are a dozen people who are basically doing the work, really, and trying to get other people to show up. But they're out there, every time, taking time off of work. Like one guy said, look, he says, I've been up there so much, he says, I'm not getting any work done. Well, that's difficult to do.
Right.
But he has a very high level of commitment. And so I said, if he's doing it, then I can do it, and I should do it. And so I'm going to do 2 things. One, I'm going to do that. And then they have this preemption killer bill saying, well, New Orleans, because they have a lot of crime, they should be able to have their own gun laws. So I just want to show them a picture of Sinead Allen. Yeah,
there you go.
This is what happens when you do that.
Well, we're seeing that in Illinois.
Yes.
Big time.
Yep. And, again, when people say, well, that just doesn't happen. Well, I know it happens every day.
Well, they can't do that. Yeah, people have to vote to make an amendment to the Constitution. Well,
no, actually, you can have all of these things happen without amending the Constitution, and no, the Second Amendment will not protect you from this. It will not. They're passing it, and they will enforce it, and until you go to court and get it ruled unconstitutional, it will be the law of the land. Yeah. And it's hard to get something ruled unconstitutional.
Right. What kind of bankroll do you have?
Right.
Not enough.
Not enough. And even if you say, well, we'll take it to the Supreme Court. What if they decide not to hear it, like they have with these other cases recently?
Right. That's so disheartening.
It is really disheartening. You're right.
Well, and people say, well, Trump got in, he got in 1 judge. That's good. That should be fine. It's the lower court judges that really, really. Yeah.
If we don't have another Trump justice, and I will tell you, that's part of this ongoing assault on Trump to try to get him to resign
before he can
get another justice. Exactly. That's a seriously big part of what's going on.
But you know what's so funny? On the opposing side, they couldn't wait to call out what was happening, why the Republicans were stalling and while we were objecting to Obama's placement. But, this is the other way around. So this is a win for them. So we're not going to say why we want to oppose this or why we want him to be stepped.
This is my repeated often message to every gun club, every shooting club, every gun store out there. You have to have voter registration efforts going on.
And in some states, it's already closed. In Ohio, it's already too late. You couldn't register now to vote for May. Right.
But you can for October.
We got the midterms coming up in October. October, November. So yes, we just need to be doing it all the time.
I'm just going to appeal to Michael Bloomberg, and because he pays people to go to legislature, and I'm going to have him pay for me to go, and I'm just going to show up on the wrong team. And just honest mistake. I didn't have to miss any work because I got paid for it, like the other side does. I just got in the wrong line. It could happen to anybody.
Oops.
Honest mistake.
Okay, seriously, though, what you do need to do, and I did this, and it is instructive, you need to go sign up for the Everytown group and the Mamas to Man Action group and get on their email lists.
I go on their website and sign up. Go to one of their meetings. I'm like,
well, you can do that too, but at the very least, you get on the email list and find out what they're doing.
I like that.
You have to. You have to know when are they going to do meetups? When are they getting together? What are they doing?
They sure pay attention to what we're doing to use it against us, so why not?
Yes, they do. Yeah. So,
well, and if there's ever a time to be vocal, we can't be loud enough right now.
No, you're right. It's we got to be there.
Speak up.
And got to stand up. Got to be there. Got to show up.
Yep.
Got to write. Got to call. Got to be a squeaky wheel.
And not just show up, but be educated with facts, hardened facts.
And, here's the thing. If you are not really sharp on it, don't speak. Sorry, but just don't. Showing up is good. Your body will be counted. You will be counted as, one of the good guys. But if you're going to come up there and say the same old stuff that doesn't work, let the folks who do this all the time speak. And every gun club ought to have a media spokesman. And there's somebody in every group who's good at this. Whether they come out of Toastmasters or they're a radio guy or a woman who gives presentations all the time and is good. Boy, it'd be great if we had a lot of women spokesmen who were talking to the media. That'd be terrific. Yeah, I know. Well, see, we're going to start our training. And that's the other thing. The Bloomberg guys, they do training for their people. Media training.
Yep.
Well,
all the time.
And they set up ropes for those who oppose them that are really far away. So nobody knows that there's any opposition.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, meanwhile, I am pretty much locked in on this takedown lever action. Okay.
Glad we could help you spend your money today, Tom.
Only
as soon as I hear takedown,
$1,400.
I hear takedown. First thing I think of is like a wrestling move. Like Michelle's going to grab me and flip me over her shoulder and pin me down.
Oh, I would pay money to watch that.
Yeah.
I was telling you. Right
She
now.
told me I had to pay money just to have her do that to me.
We could do pay-per-view right there. There it is. We're making money right here. We're going to fund the whole gun rights movement.
No, I hate to get in the way of her man crush, Tiger McGee.
I know. My goodness.
Boy,
Don't you love
red.
Tiger?
Yes.
He's so genuine.
Jim's like, oh.
Got a boyfriend?
Somebody has a boyfriend.
She's smitten with him, and he called, it's Tiger. Tiger's on line 5.
Did I tell you about the time we were doing the video with him? Of course, Tiger's got one of the thickest Alabama accents ever.
Yeah.
I know,
right?
yes.
And we're doing it. We start the video off. He says, all right. He holds his hand up. He holds up his index finger. He says, I'm from Alabama, and I talk funny. So when I say finger, I'm talking about this thing right here.
Finger.
Oh.
Yeah, he's funny, but he is genuine and just a good man.
Well, he's like Mossad. They have been doing this for so long. They're so well spoken and so well respected.
They continue to train. That's the cool part about these is they continue to train and learn and develop stuff. They don't just sit on their laurels.
Yeah, how can I be a better teacher?
Yeah.
I like that.
Right.
Study the science of teaching to be a better firearms instructor.
Yep.
So, there it is. All right, guys, I will give you a report from the basically aftermath or after action report from my time in the legislature. Next week, I will be broadcasting live from West by God, Texas.
All right.
So we're going to go down somewhere near the border. So that'll be fun, where the humidity is not like it is in Louisiana.
Ugh.
It's single digits there, which we don't have that, in a dehumidifier. We can't achieve that in any form or fashion.
Well, you stay safe because that's a volatile part of the country.
It is. I might have a means of protection with me. I'm just not sure.
You?
I might.
Hey, you say that in a singular sense.
Or 2, or 3, or
35.
A backpack with accessories in it. Yeah.
Where's my briefcase?
He's going to have a takedown briefcase.
Yeah, because everybody looks normal walking through West Texas with a briefcase.
Nothing suspicious there.
That's a shoot on sight offense right there.
You're right. You should just put it on your shoulder. He's just a commoner.
Yeah, he must be a lawyer. Limits 2 on those.
Strap into the truck.
That's right.
I will be safe.
You guys have a great week.
All right, Tom, take care.
All right.
See you.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gun Dealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.